living in a single room with 3 other individuals. One of them was a male, and the other 2 were females. God only knows what they were up to in there. And furthermore, Susan, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to learn that all 4 of them habitually smoked marijuana cigarettes. Marijuana cigarettes. Marijuana cigarettes.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4", jocking the freaks, clocking the dough. Went to the park to get the scoop. Knuckleheads out there, cold shoes and hoop. A car pulls up, who can it be? A fresh El Camino rolling kilo G. He rolled down his window and he started to say, it's all about making that GTA. 'Cause the boys in the hood are always hard. You come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Knowing nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, 'cause I ain't said shit. Donald B's in the place to give me the pace. He said my man JD is on free base. The boy JD was a friend of mine till I caught him in my car trying to steal an Alpine. I chased him up the street to call the truce. The silly Clark head pulls out a deuce. Little did he know I had a loaded 12 gauge. One sucker dead, LA Times front page. 'Cause the boys in the hood are always hard. You come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Knowing nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, 'cause I ain't said shit. Bored as fuck and I wanna get ill, so I went to a place where my homeboys chill. Niggas out there making that dollar. I pulled up in my 6'4" Impala. They greet me with a 40 and I start drinking. And from the 8 ball, my breath starts stinking. Left to get my girl to rock that body. Before I left, I hit the Bacardi. Went to her house to get her out of the van. Dumb hoe said something that made me mad. She said something that I couldn't believe. So I grabbed the stupid bitch by a nappy ass weave. She started talking shit. Wouldn't you know? Reached back like a pimp, slapped the hoe. Her father jumped up and he started to shout. So I bombed on pops, knocked his old ass out. 'Cause the boys in the hood are always hard. You come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Knowing nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, 'cause I ain't said shit. Now rolling hard, now under control. Then wrap the 6'4" around a telephone pole. I looked at my car and I said, oh brother, throw it in the gutter and go buy another. Walking home and I see the G5. Now Cat is driving Kilo on the side. As they busted a U, they got pulled over. An undercover cop in a dark green Nova. Now Cat got beat for resisting arrest. He socked a pig in the head for ripping his gas. Now G is caught for doing a crime. Fourth offense on the boy, he'll do some time. 'Cause the boys in the hood are always hard. You come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Knowing nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, 'cause I ain't said shit. I went to get them out, but there was no bail. My niggas caused a riot in the county jail. 2 days later in municipal court, Kilo G on trial, straight gutter court. Destruction of the court, said the judge. On a 6-year sentence, my man didn't budge. Bailiff came over to turn him in. Kilo G looked up and gave a grin. He yelled out fire, then came Susie. The bitch came in with a submachine Uzi. Police shot the girl but didn't hurt her. Both upstate for attempted murder. 'Cause the boys in the hood are always hard. You come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Knowing nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, 'cause I ain't said shit.
single room with three other individuals. One of them was a male, and the other two were females. God only knows what they were up to in there. And furthermore, Susan, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to learn that all four of them habitually smoke marijuana cigarettes. Marijuana cigarettes. Marijuana cigarettes. Smoke marijuana cigarettes. Marijuana cigarettes.
Shit, I'm tired as fuck. Come on, man, let's get the fuck home.
Oh, no, let's hurry up. I hate this neighborhood.
Nigga, tripping on me, yo, shit. Shit.
Just keep walking, don't turn around.
Here we go again. Hey, nigga, why you fucking with me?
Fuck you, nigga, 'cause I can. and you know this. But the pussy ass niggas won't show this. But I don't give a fuck, I'ma make my snaps. And I'm from the records from jacking the props like burglary. The definition is jacking. But when I leave on the arm, it's called cracking. Shoot a motherfucker in a minute. I'll find a good piece of pussy and go a minute. So if you had a show in the front row, I'ma call you a bitch or a dirty ass hoe. And girl, you get mad like a bitch is supposed to. If that shows me slut drunk and close to a crazy motherfucker from the street. Attitude legit, cause I'm tearing up shit. And these brain controls are automatic. Lady dumb motherfucker, it's start static. Not a right hand, cause I'm the hand itself. Every time I pull an AK on the shot, the security is maximum, and that's a law. REN spells red, but I'm wrong. See, cause I'm a motherfucking villain. The definition is clear, you're the witness of a killing. They stay in place without a clue. And once you're on the scope, your ass is through. Look, you might take it out of a trip, but a nigga like Ren is on the cake and tip straight out the car.
Easy as his name and the boys coming.
Straight out of Compton is a brother that'll smother your mother and make a sister think I love her. Dangerous motherfucker raising hell. They never ever get caught, I make bail. See, I don't give a fuck. That's the problem. I see a motherfucking cop, I don't dodge him. But I'm smart, lay low, free for a while. And when I see the punk man, I smile. To me, it's kinda funny. The attitude showing niggas driving, but don't know where the fuck you going, just rolling. Looking for the one they call easy. But here's a flash. They never sees me ruthless. Never seen like a shadow in the dark. It's someone I know. You see a spot that jump over hesitation. And here's a scream of the watch who got the leg penetration. Feel a little gust of wind and I'm jacking. Believe a memory, no one I be forgetting. So what am I convinced you got shot? Fucker, you think I give a damn about a bitch? I ain't a sucker. This is an autobiography of the E. And every fuck we get, you get taken. By a stupid dope brother who will smother. Word to the motherfucker. Straight out of Compton.
She was living in a single room with three other individuals. One of them was a male, and the other two, well, the other two were females. God only knows what they were up to in there. And furthermore, Susan, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to learn that all four of them habitually smoke marijuana cigarettes. Marijuana cigarettes. Marijuana cigarettes.
Whoops, I was slow on the button. Welcome to Mountain High Time. Today I got a cool guest from the borderland who investigates all kinds of stuff when it comes to illegal immigration, the border situation, and has been on the grounds, back and forth on the border, covering all kinds of things from drug to youth being dragged across the border and human trafficking. The different ways that trafficking is happening with not only drugs but with people, which is obviously a bad thing. It's our guest Anthony Aguera. I hope I said the last name right. I pronounce things messed up sometimes. Welcome to Mountain High Time.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. How you doing, my friend?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I've been actually following you on Twitter for a while and seeing a lot of your adventures that you're having, and not only that, exposing some really important things that need to be exposed that other people don't seem to be exposing. And I was watching your Twitter feed. I'm going to put that up for people that want to see that here. Wrong one. It's Anthony Aguero, independent reporter. And here we'll just skip to, one of the recent things that you've been checking out here is deportation flights. So tell us about what's going on with this.
So I was tipped off by a gentleman that works at the El Paso International Airport, and I mean, he sees this happening, and so I guess he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I think some of these flights, it's not looking like people are being deported." Now, the reason I am speculating of why these people are not being deported is as follows. When a deportation Airbus is getting ready to deport illegal aliens to a foreign country, there would be a mass presence of law enforcement, different, maybe even different law enforcement agencies out there uh, assisting one another in the shackling and bringing the inmates or the detainees off of the bus into the Airbus and make sure that they're all shackled individually. So we would see a drastic police force or law enforcement force out there. However, that is not the case here. More often than not, when you see just a bus sitting like that next to the tarmac with very little to no law enforcement presence out there, it means that these people are pretty much in on the free. So they'll probably be getting off the bus and jumping onto that plane without any kind of restraints or shackles. Unfortunately, I was out there for a few hours. I even did a live on X for a little bit. And it just happened. My phone died like right when the sun came up, and it was just like crystal clear picture of everything. And so I stopped the live stream because I felt it would be more convenient for me to be able to get good shots and video footage of the situation until my phone died out. But that's not to say that we are going to continue to go investigate this story. And so while we were doing the live stream on X, I asked some of the people that were watching there with me, and I even pulled out my app, my other phone, and I started looking up for the flight tracker, right?
Yeah.
And I looked up the plane number, and it turns out that it is actually busing these illegal aliens to other cities around the country, unfortunately. Now, that's not to say maybe they might be picking up other people, but it's just like first and foremost, these individuals would all be handcuffed. There would be a massive police presence out there, law enforcement agencies working hand in hand and collaborating and making the travel or the removal of these individuals a success. We're not seeing any of that. I only saw one Border Patrol agent in one Border Patrol unit, and two of these vans from a private contractor. The company name is called Trail Boss, I believe it is, and they have a contract with the government. And oftentimes, these would be some of the uh, companies that would be moving the migrants throughout the country. Trail bosses know is not new to the government. It has been used for several years, at least since I've been covering this. They're kind of a big player in the whole immigration and transportation of these illegal aliens around the country. So it was just very sketchy to see that. I've reached out to Border Patrol contacts to see if they can give me more precise information as to what is really taking place and why this plane is in fact just kind of bouncing back and forth amongst these cities within our country.
Yeah, it really is reminiscent of some of the Biden era stuff. You know, I used to go down to the El Paso border. My wife is from Mexico City, so we travel back and forth a lot. And we were seeing, the buses picking them up, not dropping them off at that newer, I guess, holding facility that on the north side of El Paso, and we were
Mhm.
seeing just buses of people loading up and going further in the U.S. I mean, it was happening constantly, and this is really reminiscent of that. Do you think it's possible that some of these people are going to court dates or trials or things like that, possibly?
I mean, it could be we can't face that out completely. We can make our assumptions, right? But it just felt I feel like I have PTSD from the last administration. So the
Right.
minute that I start getting the same little incline, the same little feeling, and that's why I'm giving this administration the benefit of the doubt because at some point, although we're not seeing no mass deportations, although we're not seeing nowhere near the numbers that we were rooting for and hoping for, in fact, they definitely toned it down. We've seen the rhetoric definitely be brought down. We've seen President Trump now backtracking, saying that some of these people are good people, and they all. I mean, I did not vote for you to have sympathy for these criminal invaders that came across the border. I am from a family of immigrants that have done everything by the book, regardless of how long the process is. We all know that anything worth coming is not going to be coming fast, cheap, or easy.
Right.
Anything worthwhile doesn't come fast, cheap, or easy. So I saw family members scrape up to the last penny, have to go and fight for the last document, wait their ass in line, have to study the constitution of the country, have to learn English, have to go through the whole assimilation process that took years for
Right.
these people to then just get a pass and do whatever the hell they want and get free medical, housing, assistance. See, people don't grasp the fact that a lot of these people can work. A lot of them decide not to because they're here on on their protection status, or they might be here waiting for their court date. And although they do have the opportunity to work, many of them choose not to. So in
Yeah.
that time being, we are responsible for them. These individuals are going to need housing. They're going to need medical assistance. The kids are going to need an education, and they're
Right.
going to need food on their table, right? Guess who's going to be paying for all of that?
That's us.
That's exactly right. No matter who is in office, we're still responsible for these people. And in the meantime, while I was something that I said so many times, even during the Biden and Trump 1.0, that we were going to get ourselves into this predicament where these people would then start reproducing, and at the time when it's time to pay the piper, and hey, your deportation didn't go, your visa didn't go through, or your paperwork got denied, it's time to head up back home. Then we're gonna see, oh, you're deporting these parents of American children, and that's where we're at right now. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, and it was kind of like I said, I wanted to give the administration the benefit of the doubt that these flights are in fact deportation flights.
Right.
But from what I saw today, early this morning, and based on the travel logs, it's not looking too good.
Right. And I mean, of course, that Americans have sympathy for people in need. That's without question. However, you see, stories on the news like probably every day. I go through maybe 15 or 20 new, like sexual predators getting deported, or murderers, burglars, you name it. And I'm not saying that every immigrant is doing that, obviously. However, you also see things like, sad stories that they try to portray that you're supposed to, have heart wrenching feelings for. Someone was here for 35 years, and then now they're getting deported. And, my immediate question is, well, why didn't you at least attempt in the 35 years you were here to make some kind of, legal arrangement so that you could stay and then this wouldn't be a problem? And, like for other people that come in legally, like my wife came from Mexico City, they paid a lot of money.
Hmm.
Um,
So you
they
know
had
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. They paid a lot of money. Not only that, they had to go through the whole thing of make sure they're vaccinated, make sure they don't have outstanding taxes or warrants, or, they have to be perfect citizens, even more perfect than we do. And especially if they're like on a permanent resident status. So anything that they do, like if they get a DWI or they owe taxes, they can be ejected.
Yeah,
And
even for a misdemeanor.
Right, and it is kind of messed up for that group of people to watch millions of people bypass what they're doing, and accumulate resources. And I know personally from living in the Southwest, I have friends, that I don't agree with, them being here illegally, but they are, and I'm not calling the police on them because I figure they will end up coming to terms with that eventually. However, I do know that they work a job, they receive benefits. Their spouse or girlfriend, sometimes multiple girlfriends, are also receiving benefits to pay for their kids. And they leave, they take the money they make, they go back home, they spend it on their second or third family, however you look at it. And that's like a real common thing that's been like that since probably the 80s. I can remember way back, people that I knew, they had a wife or girlfriend here, but they also had a wife and girlfriend in Juarez, and they would just go back and forth. And those aren't even the group that is that bad. It's the people that come in and they don't do anything except for take. That's it. And they even act like that there's some kind of something owed to them. I'm sure you've heard the we didn't cross the border crossed us. A lot of people, would fail at geography, knowing that, I think it was 27 years, at least here in New Mexico, that we were actually Mexico. Before that, it was Spanish. So for people would have lived their lifetime literally being a Spanish citizen, then a Mexican citizen, then a U.S. citizen, all in the span of 30 years. And people forget that. So most of the indigenous people up here were not going back and forth, or at least in recent times, maybe thousands of years ago. We know if genetically that was happening. But this idea that they're owed something when they get here is one of the major problems.
Definitely that major sense of entitlement. And one thing I do want to touch on really quick, if I may, is you mentioned all these people that are coming across and that mentality and that verbiage. So, well, I didn't cross the border crossed me, or no one is illegal on stolen land. Currently, there is a push, a social push, if you may, in Mexico, where they are wanting to reclaim this territory, and by overwhelming the system with people from Mexico. And I get pushback from both sides. Oh, you don't call out Mexicans. Or why are you calling out your people? First of all,
Right.
my people are here. I'm from the United States, born and raised. If you were born in the United States, you're not Mexican American. You're not
Right.
Mexican nothing. You're an American citizen. You can't go to Mexico as a U.S. born citizen and say, I'm Mexican, because they're going to laugh at you. In fact, you
Right.
don't even want to. That's just the reality of it, you know? Mexicans could be pretty racist, and then I live with them. And so, these people, they're growing up, and there is a social push from Mexico, known as Aztlan.
Aslan.
And
Yeah.
Aztlan is basically
If you go,
Mexico. You might be able to look it up and maybe pull up a map for your audience.
yeah.
Aztlan is pretty much Mexico and a huge chunk of the United States. And that is a social push being done onto the citizens of Mexico, by a lot of their school indoctrination and a lot of the culture of that's going on down there. If you see this map and you start really analyzing the population based on demographics and on nationalities, you're going to see how much Mexicans have in fact come up here and have began occupying this territory. And very much the same concept, like what we're seeing with the massive Muslim individuals that are coming across, very much like you're seeing with the massive Indians that are coming across. Yeah, there you go. That's Aztlan, guys. So Mexican citizens and individuals that are currently crossing the border and going down all the way to the education level and social engineering in Mexico, they are pushing for this map that you see right here on TV, on your screen right here. This is their end game, and this is what is being pumped and what they're being propagandized with down there in Mexico. And Mexico is not the only one. You have countries like India who are part of the uh, Global Compact of Migration, which every year they have a huge conference to honor some of the politicians and individuals that are currently helping and facilitate the invasion into our country. Governor Abbott has been one that has gone to India, and it's no surprise a little bit after he returned back to Texas after visiting India, we see this massive, massive surge of Indians coming into, stop it, coming into our country. Give me one.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, when I was growing up, they had what they called the Reconquista movement. And they would have little stuff like the little marches with and the signs with La Raza and the whole Reconquista movement, which is reconquering, which is ironic because really I find that the educational systems in multiple countries have failed them. That if you wanted to be mad at someone for that, you'd be mad at Mexico because Mexico sold this land to the United States in 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo. And yeah, and they want this whole area back right
Mhm.
here, which would be
Yeah.
the entire Southwest and California and everything. Um, it's just not going to happen. I mean, it
Yeah.
might, in sheer numbers, like you're talking about, of different groups of migrants. And I have been, keeping track of the India situation. And some of this wouldn't even be that bad, and I don't think people would be against it if it was more of an assimilation thing, and it's just not. I mean, I was watching videos of I don't want to be mean about it, but basically they were pooping in the water, places that locals go fishing, and pouring milk and honey and having little ceremonies, and then just leave all the trash in the water. And not to be offensive, but that's why India looks like India does now. And we don't, that kind of behavior, we just can't tolerate it. It would be different if there was more assimilation with it. But you're right, there are major NGO groups around the world that are pushing, in my mind, to destroy and dissolve this idea of individual liberty and constitution that we have here, by just slowly eroding it with mass migration. And I know there's different terms, the Cloward and Piven, there's, multiple different ones that just state basically that they're going to flood the United States with anybody and everybody. And a lot of people are under the misconception that, all the illegals are Mexican when every time that I've seen a group of people coming across the border, I would say 70% of them are, OTM, as they say, from Africa, India, China, all over the place.
No, you're absolutely right. It is weaponized migration, and this is a warlike tactic to overwhelm our system and bring us to our knees. What people don't understand, and I'm gonna just be honest here, like, and in particularly, sorry if you guys get offended or anybody out there watching, the boomers have failed us tremendously. And they are the first ones, for the most part, oh, it's okay, they're good people, give them a chance, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, dude, you got to get aggressive about what's happening. For the most part, it's the white boomers. It's like white people are being replaced in our country. You have Mexican descendants of or first generation Americans advocating for their race, and they just don't see what is blatantly happening. My family left a country of violence and drugs and persecution to give us a better life. They did everything by the book. I'd be damned to sit here just idly if my parents gave us this opportunity to just let this country fail and me just sit back idly watching basketball or baseball and leave this country a worse place than what we found it for my kids, for all of our kids, for our future generations. We have to stand up for our country right now. Otherwise, we're sinking and we will be looking like a third world shithole, I'm sorry to say. And none of our kids or daughters are going to be safe in a world like that out here, especially
Yeah,
with these individuals coming across. There was uh, a survey that I saw, I believe like yesterday or the day before, that was going around on X. It said most Americans would rather live next to an illegal alien Mexican than a legal Indian. That is crazy. That is, and it was like a huge, huge margin by far.
well, one thing I think that it has been, kind of a stopping point for this globalization idea. So in Europe, you have clashes of culture. You have Islam, you have traditionally Christian nations, and they're not mixing well. The problem that they have over here is no matter how much of the propaganda you push, Latin America is for the most part Christian. Mexico, Central America, South America, all Christian nations. So this idea of the culture clashing really is not going to work in the long term. And what's weird to me is growing up here in New Mexico, we had the Chicano thing, right? Everybody was a Chicano. Nobody was a Mexican. Matter of fact, in my high school, the Mexicans and the Chicanos didn't even get along. And then somewhere, I don't know, in the early 2000s, people dropped that idea of being an American Chicano and just started saying I'm Mexican. And it's really bizarre to me because there was a sense of patriotism with Chicanos that they're
Hmm.
Americans. They have
Totally.
their own communities here. They assimilated, but they didn't throw away their old culture. So they assimilated that culture into that, and that's something we're not seeing today. Now, foreigners from all over the country, they try to bring their country here instead of assimilate. And it's really funny because if you went to any one of those countries and you try to start, pushing around, I'm American, we do this in America, they're gonna shut your shit down real quick because you ain't in America.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine you go down to Mexico, dude, and you start flying an American flag out there, and you're driving around in your F-150 or in your Jeep down there, and you're flying an American flag? You probably will not make it back to the U.S. at that point, honestly, or you're gonna get robbed. But that's not gonna fly
Right.
because somebody's gonna call you out and tell you the only flag that flies here is the Mexican flag. And I just make one quick observation. Nobody claims Mexico harder than the ones that don't want to live there.
Yeah, and that's a bizarre thing, just on a logical trip there. That if you're gonna come to a place and then say it's a shithole, basically that's what they're saying is you're a shithole. You're trying to make us go home. Well, then why do you want to be here if it sucks here? If it sucks here and it's racist here and all of that other shit, why would you want to come here? The truth is because they know that's not really truthful.
And
It's a great place to be, especially if you try to succeed and you're not into like I would say like the left coast ideology of shit on the sidewalk and uh, you know all kinds of different drug users everywhere. And actually, I see a lot of that here. I see California style homelessness, drug use right out in the open. It's just pushing this way. Like even in small towns, we'll get like a group from Arizona that comes through panhandlers, and then another group will come from California. And they realize there's just really no resources here. So they have to move on to bigger cities, probably El Paso, Albuquerque, wherever they go, so that, the panhandling works. And those are American born problems. Those are not even problems that are coming from somewhere else, unless you count the drug flow. But those are Americans with the demand for the drug use that are basically shitting on the place where they live. They've given up. And, when you have all of these different factors attacking kind of the morality of, a nation, not just the morale, but the morality too. Like, what's good. You have these cities that just are accepting of everything. Everybody can come. We'll pay for everything. We'll pay for the drug users. We'll make it against the law to defend yourself. I mean, the whole thing is kind of dissolving, and not to bash on the administration, but it's kind of taken a left turn, if you will, in the second administration. And I know a lot of people were expecting millions and millions of people to be removed, and I never really thought that that was going to be logistically possible. But now we're hearing rumors of amnesty, so it's kind of like a Reagan, era thing where they're going to remove what they deem as the most dangerous people, but leave the majority of people and give them amnesty. That's where it looks like it's going to me.
And that's the worst thing we could do because after we saw Reagan do that, California just went to shit. All of California went blue. So what
Yeah,
the hell are we doing? We know that these people are eventually going to vote blue. They're going to want to bring their cousins and primos and abuelitas and the whole family over here with the least effort possible. Even if it means bringing them over illegally, it doesn't matter to them. And so
right.
the government knew exactly what they were doing. They were importing millions of individuals who have been mentally brought down, destroyed by their previous government in their home country. They brought in a slave working force pretty much that was not forced to vaccinate. Obviously, they needed a healthy working force, but they did mandate the jab on all Americans, even our service members. Why? This is a soft kill depopulation agenda where they are trying to take down the United States. They're trying to take down the culture. They are trying to take down the red blooded Americans from this country and beat into your head that you must accept these people. These people are here to help. Americans are lazy. They're here to take what Americans will not do. Tell me, bro, how many of these illegal aliens that are coming across the border are genuinely gonna go to the fucking fields? None. They're all in fucking Uber. They're all doing whatever job is easiest for them. For crying out loud, we have technology out at the border. We have individuals that have work permits already in place where these farms, these ranches are to capacity holding these individuals. I see it when I'm in Arizona. I see it when I'm in California. So when they tell you, oh, these people are here to just pick fucking tomatoes and bananas and shit, it's like bullshit. They're all over fucking Uber. They're delivering fucking food to my house. That is just a crock of shit, bro.
Well, what are they going to do kind of in the near future within the next decade when most of those jobs, those kind of jobs specifically, like Uber and food delivery, are all going to be handed over to AI, automatic cars, and stuff like that. That not only removes the jobs from any American that wants to do it, but any foreigner that wants to do it too. So, what do you do in a country where the jobs disappear, literally, are given to non-humans, and then we have excess of up to 40 million extra people in an area? Um,
They're also getting much better interest rates through banks, brother.
yeah, like
They're
Bank of
arriving
America.
to
Yeah.
our country and they're not contributing jack shit. They don't even have a credit score, but they're getting loans of half a million, $1 million, and they're getting better interest rate than American citizens. What the hell are we even doing? And
Yeah,
then
that
we're incentivizing them having babies by giving them X amount of dollars per kid that they end up having here. Like, what the hell are we even doing, man?
Well, to touching on that with the children, I was showing a minute ago right here. This is one of the main things that I remember off of your feed there is when you came across these children that seem to have been drugged, and I was going to ask you, like, how often, well, maybe not so much now, but leading up to this administration, this was being commonplace for what, 4 to 10 years, maybe even during the first administration. um what do you think, in your opinion, where these kids were going and what for?
So let me give you a quick recap of everything that transpired immediately after Obama was set to leave office. You remember that when Trump first took office for his first 2 years, we had people could not understand why we had caravans. Trump even coined, we gotta give him credit. He coined the term caravan because there were so many people arriving to the southern border when he took office. Why was that? Well, a month or two right before Obama was set to leave office, he had a secret meeting pretty much in New York where he signed our country into the Global Compact of Migration. The Global Compact of Migration consists of about 150 some other countries around the world in which there is absolutely no borders, no interruption. You can come and go freely, pretty much uninterrupted amongst these countries as long as your country belongs to this global compact of migration. Obama signed us up into it. Canada signed it. Mexico signed it. And when you're having all of these people arriving into Mexico, into Canada, it was easy for them just to make it into the United States. We really had no choice than to kind of take them in because Obama signed us up for 2 full years. That was in 2016. Right before 2018, the United States was poised to sign the agreement again. President Trump said, nope, I'm not doing that. It doesn't line up with what I'm trying to accomplish. It doesn't line up with the values of our Constitution. People got to do things different, right? So he declined to sign it. That's when we saw the caravans kind of disappear. They stopped coming into the United States, but they were still arriving and currently still are into Mexico because Mexico and Canada are not our friend. They're still allowing all of these individuals to arrive into the country. And these both of these countries are not stupid. They very much well know that these people that are coming into Tijuana, Ontario, their end game is to cross illegally into the United States. And so Trump pulled us out of it. Is my understanding, Biden signed us right back into it. Now we're back out of it. However, Mexico and Canada are still very much involved. And so, although US tax dollars kind of stop being funneled or sent to some of these organizations or NGOs, they are still receiving foreign money. People like George Soros, who are vested in, and other countries that I'd rather not touch on because that will be called names. There are other countries that are involved in facilitating the invasion of the United States. This particular little country seems to want to destroy our country rather than be a true friend of ours. And so a lot of the people that are involved with these NGOs are still receiving money from this tiny little country that just has so much money that they are able to distribute like that, and it is affecting us here at a local level, unfortunately. So Canada currently there is no border. I was just out there in October. It is just so vastly open, brother, that it would be nearly impossible for Border Patrol to be able to gauge how many people are even coming in.
Right.
In on the southern border currently, I am hearing numbers from inside DHS. These are seasoned agents that have been there for years, letting me know that they are seeing an average of 1,000 gotaways just on the southern border alone. That's 360 and over 360,000 illegal aliens per year. Okay. At that rate, there are still more illegal aliens entering the country than we are actually deporting. So for them to say, oh, it's a net negative for migration, bullshit. Maybe
Right.
on numbers of individuals that were apprehended, okay, maybe some are apprehended and redeported, right? But
Right.
there are still cases where people come in with a valid asylum a case with valid life situation that they're allowed into the country. Yes, those cases are they still exist, and yes, they are happening. Has it drastically reduced? Yes. I just took a border tour from East Texas all the way to the coast of California. Most of the checkpoints on I-10, except for one, are closed. Why? Why? These are like the pipeline right into our country. These are like the main vessels. These are like the artery veins into our country, and unprotected. I was speaking with Border Patrol agents out in the Campo sector. One female agent tells me, man, we've been so busy. Thank you for being out here. We have been very busy these last couple of weeks. A lot of people attempting to cross over. Meanwhile, and this was a more seasoned female agent. Meanwhile, I'm down on the actual border where the actual barrier is, and I'm doing my investigations and I'm finding a legit corridor of illegal aliens coming in. And I'm asking the agent, I'm like, hey, dude, have you checked this location? And I'm trying to show him on the map. Cuts me off mid sentence, and he said, how much longer are you going to be out here? Dude, there's shit happening right here in your workplace, like less than half a mile from where we're at. You could just tell me, oh, let's go pinpoint me where it's at, or drop it on a pin for me, or show me on your map. No. How much longer are you going to be here? And these are like the new kids that are out there, bright green, new starch uniform,
Yeah.
they really don't know what's going on, but they're more concerned what or how long a American journalist is going to be out there for. It's ridiculous. But the fact of the matter is, this administration is being very cautious on the linguistics that they use when they say zero catch and release. Maybe, unless they have a valid asylum place. But there are individuals, at least 1,000 gotaways, and those are just numbers, by the way, of individuals that are seen on camera, drone, or sensors. There are there's more areas on the southern border that are unprotected than there actually is protection.
Oh yeah.
Those numbers that I'm giving you is just the little spots that happen to have a camera, a sensor, or a drone flying over, and Border Patrol never made it on time. The number is way higher than that, and that's just on the southern border. The northern border, we have individuals coming in, the same criminal organizations that are operating on the south are now on the northern border. I was able to identify stash houses that I documented, trafficking routes out there. I even found a property that has a wooden built bridge. It looked like a little Mexican built it real quick so that they don't have to get their feet wet, so I could just cross right over. And I'll probably be sharing that here in the next day or two. And you see all of the vehicle tire tracks all up and down these fields where they just arrive. And then I get the impression that when they arrive, they're very disciplined because they go all the way down the edge of the property. Once they turn and they are right next to the border and they make the pickup, you see them just scram out of there like a bat out of hell. I think the adrenaline kicks in, and the tire tracks are just like all over the field, and you can just follow them. And I'm able to observe them with my drone as well, so you kind of see the pattern of the cars that go in and out of there. But the northern border is completely unprotected. There are areas currently in New Hampshire and in New York. Sorry, my little Belgian is very mouthy. There are areas in New York and in New Hampshire where there are off-road trails that usually were used by families, people trying to get away on the weekend or whatnot. These trails are now being exploited by criminal organizations by using these fancy, like razors and ATVs. They're no longer quads. They use like these fancy off-roads. They're bringing individuals across the border up to 100 miles inland because they're bypassing all sorts. To begin with, there's very little police presence or law enforcement presence out on the northern border. But second of all, they are completely bypassing any kind of law enforcement by taking these off-road tracks. And on these off-road trails, there are small hotels, there are small little stores, and even areas that sell you gas for your ATVs or your razors out there. Guess who's exploiting these small family businesses? The cartel is the criminal organizations that are out there bringing people in. They're driving them straight down up to 100 miles.
Yeah, that is crazy. And it's kind of well known that there's really no protection on the northern border. And even here on the southern border, I could take you to 10, 15 places right now where people cross daily. Not only that, and there's brazen people, I guess they didn't hear about it or don't have the connections or whatever, but they'll jump over the wall right on the interstate in El Paso. like just flop down. There, some guy broke his legs not too long ago doing that. Um, and it's just a complete disregard for any national sovereignty at all. And then we have this, you know, I'm going to go ahead and call it a failed narco state because of the president the president of Mexico continually to acting like there is no cartel problem. At every turn, she acts like it's not a big deal, and if it would be, and she puts it in a way that it would be worse if they confronted the cartels. So we need to just leave them alone so there's not violence. And I'm sure you saw that whole thing break out in Cancun not too long ago, and also was at Puerto Vallarta, I think, on the other side, where they were just burning cars and going after people and stuff. And there was really no response from any kind of military or police or anything. They basically took the city several times over and over again. I mean, I've watched it unfold, and now with the Venezuela thing, there's literally, I mean, excuse me, not the Venezuela, with the Iran thing, it kind of just got wiped off the news feed completely. So now we're only paying attention to the Middle East, and like you said, all of this stuff is still going on. It never stopped. The only thing that I've seen different is the introduction of all of these flock cameras, which are an extension of the security and surveillance state, but they don't seem to be surveilling who you would think they would be surveilling. It seems to be more concentrated inward at citizens, what they're doing, where they're going, what you know, and what do you think about that? And then also, to add on to that, we get trolled with stuff like this from the administration now.
That's the worst, dude.
I mean, it's ultimate trolling. It's making a joke out of both topics. I'm not all into the UFO topic, but it's basically trolling both topics and making it seem like neither one of them are important enough to worry about.
It's they're not reading the room. I want to be very careful with how I. They're definitely not reading the room right now. This is not helping any American whatsoever. It's not helping us with gas. It's not helping our beef prices. Putting your face on a $250 bill that most Americans will probably never see is ridiculous. That doesn't help us any. You slapping your name on buildings, what kind of legacy are you leaving when you've have completely failed us? You
Right.
did a 180 on us. I didn't leave MAGA. MAGA left me.
Yeah.
He left me out to die. This is not what we signed up for. We are an occupied nation. We need
Yeah.
to speak clear, consistent with the truth.
Right.
And as much as sometimes it is hard for us to admit, or for some people to say, you know what, I was swindled, I was fooled. Some people, their cognitive dissonance will kick in, and oh no, he's doing such a great job. And it's amazing to watch some of these mainly boomers and some of these sellout shills that are just propaganda mouthpieces doing their
Right.
mental fucking gymnastics. I literally sit here and I sip my coffee sometimes and I fucking laugh, dude. I can't even get mad anymore. I literally laugh at these fucking jokers because it's just ridiculous, the mental gymnastics that they do. And it's always the low IQ goyim that fall for this nonsense, brother. It's fucking ridiculous. Nothing but Fed slop. It's really sad to see that this is the current state of our nation. That we're supposed to be entertained and oh, he's so funny. He's trolling us. He's fucking laughing in your face. This admin and quite frankly, I don't even really think it's Trump running none of that. I
I,
think it's somebody else that is doing all of that. Trump probably can't even doesn't even know how to screen record on his iPhone. He probably doesn't even know how to meme. All that stuff is coming out from somewhere else. Somebody else is running that show, unfortunately, from my personal opinion. And it's really, really sad to see. And so when I'm out here on the border, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt because they came in talking a really good game, but
right.
I'm pretty disappointed. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. And to go back to those flock cameras, I'm sorry. To go back to those flock cameras, yeah, this is all a major surveillance tape coming in by a small group of people and people like Peter Thiel, some of these big tech bros that are trying to lock our country down for other foreign nations. And the reality is that we are in danger as American citizens. Anybody that stands up to this regime right now is considered a terrorist. If you're against the new AI surveillance data centers, you are now being classified as a terrorist in our country by the DOJ. That is extremely, extremely alarming. That should not be the case. And quite frankly, we need to start really thinking. You remember a few years back the FEMA camps that Jesse Ventura and Alex Jones came and
Absolutely.
reported on, they're still there, brother.
I know, and they've built all these
They're
new ones that hold up
they're
to
they're
400,000
all
people.
there. They're all there. They're fully staffed and operational, but they're empty. It just kind of starts putting things into perspective. What the
Yeah.
hell is really going on? What the
Well,
hell is really going on?
I don't know if you're familiar with Operation Night Train or Operation Garden Plot. These are from early 60s, 70s, but if you read into those, what they talk about is how the administration could take power from everything and to specifically remove up to 400,000 or more combative illegal aliens. And this is an old thing. So you've probably heard of Rex 84. So this is all
Yes.
similar. So they've built on. It started out as Operation Garden Plot, then it moved to Operation Night Train, and then Rex 84. And these are all continuity of government think tank programs that they put in place. So when people argue like why don't they do this or why don't they deport, they've had the legal power that they gave themselves since the early 60s to take care of any of these issues. And then you see that they haven't done that. They've actually worked in the opposite direction of even those continuity of government programs. But when you really read in the details of those, even then, they were more worried about groups of voters than they were the groups of illegal aliens. They were worried about the groups of voters, getting together, feeding themselves, arming themselves, protecting themselves, basically the American way. And that's been the problem. And, what you said a minute ago is really ironic. I'm sure you remembered a few years ago when everybody was kind of moving to MAGA, a lot of Democrats, left people. And one of the things that they commonly said is, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. It just went way far to the left. And you're saying something similar to that. Like, I didn't leave MAGA. I still believe in making America great again. I believe in the ideals that were being pushed. The problem is we're not doing them. We've kind of skipped over to a different program, and it is right in your face. And there's people that are so, it's like that Matrix scene, how with the red dress, that people are so entrenched in the system that they'll fight you to defend it. So when you
Hell
point
yeah.
out that, hey, this administration's doing stuff that was opposite, which I got to be honest, is literally the catchphrase almost for every administration. Like you had George Bush, read my lips, no new taxes. The first thing he does is put a bunch of taxes. And then you got the George Bush Jr. We can't be the policeman of the world and go around. Then right away we're into Iraq, being the policeman of the world. So it's been every single president. Matter of fact, you can even go and find clips of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Jerry Nadler and all of the main Democrats talking about how we can't have open borders and an influx of, but something happened where they just switched their tune completely. It was right about when Trump got in. And this is a weird thing to me. See, I never liked the idea of everybody getting together with a single political ideology and then putting on a uniform. And basically, that's what happened with the MAGA hats. So what that allowed for the government to do, literally, is spot out all the people and what their views are, and then put them in a category. And amongst those people, there's probably about, I'm going to say 3% of even those people that are more willing to, like defend or fight to keep things in the ideals that we started in. And you kind of saw that with January 6th. They spotted out all the main people, all the targets that they wanted to, identify, and they've all put them in a box and basically neutralized it. And you see, like on the right now, there's a big, I'm gonna go ahead and call it like a civil war against the pro little country people and the people that don't care about the little country. And
Mhm.
I don't know how that's going to turn out because basically you have that on the left and the right. That's the same thing. That's the one thing that you'll notice that all of everyone will vote for always.
Yeah.
It's to support that little country.
That's the one thing that unite that both wings are united by that one little bird. You know, because had it listen, let's just analyze this, okay? Had it been Kamala in office, she would have sent us to war as well because
Yeah.
she also marches to their tune, right?
Right.
What would then MAGA's reaction had been?
Well, we'd have been anti-war, right? Well,
Yeah,
I
it would
mean,
have been crying out. It got us into war, Donald. Look at these gas prices. What's going on? No
food.
accountability for Epstein. They would have been fucking crying wolf.
Yeah.
Crying wolf. How do we just switch Donald Trump for Kamala Harris. What then would MAGA's reaction be?
It would have
They'd
been
be
what it was
fucking
in
crying.
right.
It's
Yeah.
just it's such hypocrisy. It's disgusting, and to see so many people now, just like our Texas senators, Ted Cruz. I just filled up in my gas tank for $3.99. It's like motherfucker. Last year under Biden, it was like 225. What is the what are you trying to flex here? We're supposed to thumbs up that you're getting $4 a gallon. I literally, and I kid you not, I screenshotted a boomer on Facebook. I thought it was comedy. I thought it was satire. It's not, dude. Literally, it says, I am okay with paying up to $10 a gallon for gas if it means Iran not having a weapon. What? I,
Yeah. And it's really bizarre to me for people that pay attention. So, like, I was already a big kind of newsy, I guess, back in 2001. So when we went in for yellow cake uranium, all I kept doing is like yelling at the TV when they would say, "Well, there's weapons of mass destruction there. We need to get them." And I'd be like, "Okay." And then they said, "Oh, we lied. There was no yellow cake uranium. There's no weapons of mass destruction." But you notice they never brought up that the US actually did sell weapons of mass destruction to Saddam Hussein. We gave him mustard gas, sarin gas, anthrax, all kinds of other things. We never talked about that. Well, there is weapons of mass destruction there. We know that because we sold it to them. But you notice we never went there. We just kept going with this false narrative of yellow cake uranium, which does what? It makes dirty bombs or nukes. So now they went with the exact same story with Iran. It's the same story for 40 years. They're about to have a nuke. They're about to have a nuke. And really, so what if they did?
Russia, Hillary Clinton sold a bunch of uranium to Russia as well.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I think she sold over half of ours, if I'm not mistaken, or half of ours. It was a really big deal, and then it just kind of got squashed. So it's like, what are we doing? Everything that this administration seems to be doing, or no, not seems to be doing, everything that this administration is doing seems to be in the favor of not the US. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Uh, I care about this country and about what we're going through here. We are importing, I believe, Argentinian beef, right? Because there's a shortage of beef, while
Right.
we're selling American fucking beef to China, bro.
Right.
How does
And
it
that,
like? It's just like, what are we doing?
well, that's really funny because you brought up Peter Thiel there, and he ran off to Argentina. He enrolled his kids in school down there. He doesn't even want to be up here.
Hey,
He has,
remember those forest fires in Argentina a few months back?
yeah.
I wonder what they're doing with that land that just coincidentally happened to burn down.
Well,
It's
not
either going to be a data center or it's going to be a tiny
a
country
smart
within
city.
yeah, or a little tiny country within a tiny country. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, not to get too woo woo there, but yeah, or out there. But it's not just Peter Thiel. It's been some of the families that traditionally in power. You have T. Boone Pickens bought up a lot of water rights in the U.S. The Bushes notoriously went down to Argentina and bought up all the water rights. So they do have plans for the southern hemisphere. And not to just throw it out there, but it seems like basically they're just going to shit on the northern hemisphere and all run off and then repeat the process in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, the parasite needs a new host. It consumes one and moves on to the next, it seems like. It's unfortunate that we're allowing this to happen. With that much money already wasted on other countries' wars and having to send help to other countries, we would be golden here in the United States. We would be able to have universal health care for everybody. One of my influencer friends just broke his arm and had to go back to his country in Japan because they were charging him over $38,000 to fucking fix his arm, bro. And over there it
Damn.
cost him, I think, like $1,800. So of course he's gonna book the flight, go back to his country,
Right.
get fixed and came right back. But that is what we're up against right now, unfortunately. It's not looking good, my man, but all we can do is just try to stay hopeful and pray for the best outcome and try to continue to open people's hearts and change their minds with what's really happening right now. Because if we don't, nobody else will. We have to break these people out of the matrix. People like you and I have been considered already enemies of the state for discussion
Oh
topics
yeah.
like this. And so, we're not new to this. Right now, we might face a little backlash and, oh, you're crazy and this and that. I'm done following you. Whatever. We're going to continue. We're not going to change our values and our way of thinking. And I'm still America first. I'm still make America great. However, a lot of the things that are being perpetrated right now are definitely not in our favor. Rather, they are hurting us tremendously. And so, I'm just trying to stay on a positive path and just continue reporting and hopefully, good hearts will prevail.
Sweet, man. Where could we find you on the internet? I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the screen here.
Great, thank you. Yeah, over there I'm usually on X. I have a pretty good presence on Instagram. I post some pretty funny stuff out there that probably doesn't
Nice.
make it on X. But yeah, Anthony Aguero live on Instagram, Anthony Aguero on X, and you guys can follow my small business page, Border Network News. It's at Border Wars USA on X. Where we also post stuff on there. So. I greatly
Nice, man.
appreciate your time and thank you for sharing your beautiful audience with me for a few minutes, brother. Thank you so much.
Sweet, man. We appreciate you coming on, and you're welcome back as a guest. If you have any stories, we're all ears. We're listening. Everybody's in it together. And over the years, it is funny to me that people change their political views with whatever's popular or the fads going on, and they do that high school mentality where the popular kids, I don't want to say the wrong thing or like the wrong thing, and we've got that in a digital world. So I remember
Mhm.
back, with George Bush, the junior there, people were calling me a lefty. They were calling me a bleeding heart liberal because I was against wars. I was against, the Federal Reserve and things like that. And then we moved into Obama, and then all of a sudden I was a right wing bigot, right? And then we went to Trump. Then I was a lefty again. Well, I kind of agreed mostly with them in 2016. So I was being called the bigot, the whatever, whatever. And then
The
Biden got in
racist,
back
the
again.
bigot.
It just goes back and forth. So I know in 2 or 3 years, the opinions will swing back the other way, and some of the same people that were calling you this, that, and the other thing will change their minds again. And like I said, we basically are just having this debate over foreign interests in different directions. And I think Americans are going to realize that there is one truth that other countries are starting to figure out, that there's only so many resources for the future.
Mhm.
And if you're giving those resources away to other people, that means there's less resources, opportunities, and room for your children and their grandchildren. So, like, from whether it be housing or assistance, or just any kind of the resources out there, the more you see millions of people from different countries coming in, that's less and less resources for your already dropping fertility rate country that you live in here. So just to throw that out there at the end. But yes, I really appreciate you coming on again. And again, that's Anthony Aguero. And you can find him on X, Border Wars. Let me see here. Make sure Border Wars USA.
Yeah.
Right. And Anthony Aguero on X there. And you said you had a TikTok too, or Twitter? Instagram. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's all
So
good.
many different
Yeah,
things.
so maybe later on this week, or I can commit. Maybe we could do a little live space once a week, man, and help inform the masses. If you'd like to
Sweet.
join me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing it probably once a week. I can co-host with you, back and forth, vice versa. But
Sweet.
the end game is to educate and bring awareness so people can vote adequately and vote for their values and not so much a political system, the party.
Right. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And if you guys follow him on the feeds and check him out, he's doing a lot of great reporting out there and has been for a few years. I'm going to go ahead and
Thank you,
end the
brother.
stream.
We'll see you